The old doll maker was heartbroken. His once lively workshop, filled with the laughter of his beloved daughter, now echoed with silence. The tools that once created joy now lay abandoned, gathering dust. His heart ached with every passing moment, the weight of his loss almost unbearable. His daughter, his Bee, was gone. The photograph he held was a constant reminder of the joy she brought into his life. Her smile, her laughter, everything about her was etched into his memory. But memories were all he had left. A terrible accident, they said. A night that changed everything. The crash took her away, leaving a void that nothing could fill. The funeral was a blur of black clothes and tear-streaked faces. He felt numb, lost in a sea of grief. He poured all his sadness, his very soul, into making a new doll. Each stroke of the brush, each delicate touch, was a way to channel his pain. He worked tirelessly day and night, driven by a desperate hope to recreate what he had lost. A beautiful porcelain doll, almost real. It was a masterpiece, a reflection of his love and sorrow. The doll's eyes seemed to hold a spark of life, a glimmer of his daughter's spirit. He believed that through this creation he could bring a part of her back. A gift, he thought, a way to have his Bee back. He was so wrong. The doll, though beautiful, was just an object. It couldn't replace the warmth of his daughter's embrace or the sound of her voice. But in his grief, he clung to it, hoping against hope. He didn't see the darkness hiding. In his desperation, he was blind to the sinister presence that had been drawn to his sorrow. The shadows in his workshop seemed to grow darker, more menacing, but he paid them no mind. The evil being, hungry, drawn to his sadness. It fed on his grief, growing stronger with each passing day. The doll-maker's sorrow was like a beacon, calling out to the malevolent force that lurked in the shadows. It saw a chance, a new body. The doll, crafted with such love and pain, was the perfect vessel. The entity's eyes gleamed with malevolent intent, as it prepared to take over the lifelike creation. The doll-maker, blinded by love and despair, opened the door to it. He let evil in. In his quest to bring back his daughter, he had unwittingly invited darkness into his life. The consequences of his actions would soon unfold, bringing with them a new kind of sorrow. The doll-maker named her Annabelle. She was meant to be a tribute, a way to remember his beloved daughter, Bee, who had passed away tragically. He poured all his love and sorrow into crafting the doll, hoping it would bring some comfort to his aching heart. A good tribute, he thought. The doll's eyes seemed to hold a spark of life, a glimmer of the daughter he had lost. He believed that through Annabelle, Bee's spirit would live on, watching over him. But his Bee was truly gone. The room that once echoed with her laughter now stood silent and empty, a painful reminder of what he had lost. The toys she once played with gathered dust, untouched and forgotten. In her place, something cold and cruel. Annabelle's eyes, once a source of comfort, now seemed to follow him with a malevolent gaze. The warmth he had hoped to feel was replaced by an unsettling chill. The doll moved, a small twitch here, a slow blink there. At first he thought it was his imagination, a trick of the light. But soon the movements became more pronounced, more deliberate. Shadows seemed to stick to it. Wherever Annabelle was placed, the room grew darker, the shadows longer and more menacing. It was as if the doll was drawing the darkness to itself. Whispers filled the old house, soft at first, barely audible, but growing louder each night. They seemed to come from the walls, the floors, the very air itself, carrying messages he couldn't understand. Doors creaked open, then slammed shut. The house, once a sanctuary, had become a place of fear. Every creak, every groan of the old wood sent shivers down his spine. The air grew heavy, full of fear. It was as if the house itself was alive, breathing in his terror and exhaling a suffocating dread. He could feel it pressing down on him, making it hard to breathe. The doll-maker, he knew. He had made a terrible mistake. In his grief, he had created something far more sinister than he could have ever imagined. Annabelle was not a vessel of love, but a conduit for something dark and malevolent. But it was too late. The doll had taken on a life of its own, and there was no turning back. The doll-maker could only watch in horror as the darkness he had unwittingly unleashed continued to spread. Janice, a young orphan, saw the dollhouse. It was unlike anything she had ever seen before, intricate and beautiful, yet there was something unsettling about it. A beautiful, detailed thing. Annabelle sat inside, smiling. The doll's eyes seemed to follow Janice, a sinister glint in them that sent shivers down her spine. Janice reached for it, her hand trembling. As her fingers brushed the dollhouse, a trap snapped shut, with a loud, echoing clang. The cellar door slammed shut behind her, sealing her in. Darkness choked the air, making it hard to breathe. She was trapped, alone in the basement. The evil being, free from the doll, was a storm of rage. It moved with a terrifying speed, its presence filling the room with a malevolent energy. Janice screamed, her voice echoing off the walls. But no one could hear her cries for help. She was completely alone, at the mercy of the evil entity. Annabelle watched, her eyes shining with a malevolent glee. This was her game now, the torture just starting. The basement echoed with Janice's screams, a symphony of terror orchestrated by the sinister doll. They took Annabelle away, locked her in a glass box. Safe, they thought. They were wrong. Evil, once invited, never really leaves. It stays waiting for a crack, a weakness, a chance to get out. The doll's eyes follow you. You feel it, a chill down your spine. Something is there, watching, waiting. Annabelle is patient. She has forever.